You ever wish you had like a cheat sheet for ancient wisdom on staying healthy? Feeling great? Like some core knowledge our ancestors just knew, that we could sort of plug into today without digging through dusty old texts for years?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you've landed in the right place. This deep dive is exactly that,
Yeah.
a shortcut to some really profound insights, giving you the essentials without the overwhelm.
And today, we're really diving deep. We're journeying into the heart of ancient Ayurvedic medicine, drawing straight from its most revered sources. The Brihat Trayi.
The Brihat Trayi, okay, that sounds important. Like the heavy hitters of Ayurveda. What exactly are these sources we're looking at?
Think of them as the foundational pillars. Everything classical Ayurveda is built on these.
Right.
We're talking about the Charaka Samhita, that's Rishi Charak, focusing on internal medicine. Then the Sushruta Samhita, Rishi Sushruta's incredible work on surgery.
Surgery, wow.
Oh, yeah. And then the wisdom of Rishi Vagbhata, his Ashtanga Hridaya and Ashtanga Sangraha, which kind of brilliantly synthesizes the first two. These aren't just, old books. They're the absolute peak of Ayurvedic understanding from that era.
Okay, so our mission here is to pull out the really crucial stuff from these ancient giants. We want to get a handle on their core principles, the big ideas.
Exactly. The fundamentals.
How they diagnosed illnesses back then, the amazing range of remedies they used, and really why this system has lasted for thousands of years.
Yeah.
We're after those aha moments, the ones that might shift how you think about your own health. And because this deep dive is tailored for you listening, we're aiming to keep it focused, impactful.
Precisely. The Brihat Trayi literally means the major three. It's considered the backbone of Ayurvedic treatment, even today. These three texts are the canonical sources.
The guiding light, really.
You could say that, yeah. For centuries.
And we're talking a significant period in history, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. Roughly 800 BCE to maybe 1000 CE. It's often called the golden age of Indian medicine, and these texts are right at the heart of it.
So these rishis, these wise figures.
Incredible figures. You have Charak, focused on internal medicine, prevention, diagnosis, probably active somewhere between, say, the 2nd century BCE and 2nd century. The surgical genius, often called the father of Indian surgery, even plastic surgery. His work really solidified around the 7th century CE.
Amazing.
And then Vagbhata, who came a bit later, maybe 4th to 6th century CE, he masterfully wove together Charaka and Sushruta's knowledge, gave us this comprehensive view.
So we're going to explore the philosophy and the practical side in these texts. Expect some surprising insights, I guess. A really holistic view of health.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
A truly holistic approach.
Okay, wow. So much ground to cover. Where do we even start with something this huge?
Well, a logical place, the absolute foundation, is the concept of the Pancha Mahabhutas.
Pancha Mahabhutas,
Yeah.
the 5 great elements. Sounds fundamental.
It is. Ayurveda says that everything in the cosmos, and importantly, our own bodies, are made up of these 5. Akasha, think space, or ether.
Okay.
Vayu, which is air. Teja, that's fire. Jala is water, and Prithvi is earth.
So not just abstract concepts, they actually relate to how things work.
Absolutely. Each element has specific qualities. Like, Vayu is about movement, lightness, dryness. Prithvi gives structure, stability.
Right.
Jala is fluid, cool. Akasha provides the space for everything else. And Teja, fire. That's transformation, metabolism within us.
Okay.
The key insight is how these elements explain the properties of substances, and crucially, how our bodies function. They're the building blocks for understanding the Tridoshas, the Dhatus, Malas. Even our senses and Agni, our digestive fire.
Okay, so 5 elements is the base. Now, you mentioned Tridoshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. This is probably the concept most people have heard of regarding Ayurveda, right?
Very likely, yes. They're the 3 fundamental biological energies or humors. They arise from unique combinations of those 5 elements we just talked about.
And they govern everything.
Pretty much all our physiological processes, and many psychological ones too. Think of them as the body's main operating principles.
So each has a specific job.
Exactly. Vata, space, and air is the energy of movement. Nerve impulses, circulation, breathing, elimination. That's Vata. Qualities like dryness, lightness, motion.
Okay, movement.
Pitta, mostly fire. A bit of water is metabolism, transformation. Digestion, body temperature, hunger, thirst. It's hot. Sharp drives chemical reactions.
Transformation, heat. Got it.
And Kapha, water, and earth provide structure, lubrication. It's heavy, cool, stable. Think joints, tissues, immunity, structure and substance.
So everyone has all three, but the mix is different.
Precisely. Your unique mix at conception. That's your prakriti, your natural constitution, your balance state.
Your baseline.
Your baseline, exactly. When things like diet or lifestyle throw that off balance, that's afriti, that's imbalance, potentially leading to disease.
Okay.
So too much vata might show up as nervous issues, maybe digestive upset, excess pitta, often inflammation. Kapha imbalance could be congestion, weight gain.
Right.
So the main goal of Ayurvedic treatment is always to restore that dosha balance. Understanding your prakriti, your dominant dosha, is like knowing your body's natural tendencies. It helps you make choices to stay balanced proactively.
Instead of just reacting when things go wrong. Makes sense. Okay, elements. Then these three core energies defining us. What's next in the framework? You mentioned Dhatus and Malas.
Right. After the doshas, we have the Sapta Dhatus, the 7 bodily tissues.
Okay.
These are what the doshas act upon. They're the body's structure and function.
7 tissues. What are they?
It starts with rasa, like plasma, the initial nourishment from food. Then rakta, blood. Mamsa is muscle tissue, our physical structure.
Okay.
Meda is fat tissue lubrication, energy storage. Asti is bone, providing support. Maja is marrow and nervous tissue. In Shukra, the reproductive tissues, seen as the most refined essence.
Wow.
And Ayurveda describes this sequential nourishment. Food nourishes rasa, then rasa nourishes rakta, rakta nourishes mamsa, and so on down the line.
Like a cascade. Interesting.
Okay.
And the malas are the waste products from all this.
Yes, the trimalas, pirisha, feces, mutra, urine, and sweta, sweat, essential byproducts of metabolism. Their proper, timely elimination is absolutely critical for health.
If they build up, problems arise.
Exactly. They can accumulate, contribute to disease.
Okay, elements, doshas, tissues, waste. One more key term you mentioned, Agni. Sounds like fire in Sanskrit.
You got it. Agni is the digestive and metabolic fire. It's the energy behind all transformations in the body, but especially digesting food.
The main engine.
In a way, yes. Ayurveda talks about 13 types of Agni, but the big one is Jatharanya, the digestive fire in the stomach and intestines. It breaks down food into nutrients.
Okay.
Strong Agni isn't just about digestion. It's crucial for preventing Amma, those undigested metabolic toxins we mentioned. Ayurveda sees Amma as a root cause of many diseases.
So keeping that fire burning strong is key.
Balanced and robust Agni, yes.
Okay.
Fundamental for long-term health, according to these texts.
This is also interconnected, like a complex web inside us. And it sounds like Ayurveda really takes a holistic view, right? Not just the physical stuff. You mentioned mind-body.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a cornerstone of the Brihat Trayi. The whole system, physical, mental, spiritual health, they're inseparable. It's not just about not having physical symptoms.
Right.
Ayurveda even talks about mental doshas, Raja's activity, restlessness, and Tamas inertia, dullness. Like the physical doshas, these can get out of balance too.
So mental states are part of the equation.
Definitely. The texts even mention therapies like Sattva Vihaya Chikitsa, essentially cultivating mental well-being, self-control. The core idea is that disease isn't just physical.
It can start anywhere.
Right. Imbalances can be physical, mental, spiritual. So treatment has to address the root cause, maybe lifestyle, diet, managing emotions. The principle of samyata, moderation in everything, is also key for longevity.
Moderation.
Yeah. This ancient view really resonates with modern integrative medicine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This idea that everything's connected.
It really does. It's amazing how relevant it feels. Okay, so they had this deep understanding of body function, mind-body connection. But how did they actually figure out what was wrong when someone got sick? What were their diagnostic methods?
Well, the Brihat Trayi shows a remarkably sophisticated, multifaceted approach. It wasn't just symptom spotting. It was a deep dive into the individual.
Let's start with Charaka, the internal medicine guy. What was his approach?
Charaka really emphasized both prevention and cure. His diagnostic method, laid out in the Charaka Samhita, was meticulous. He used something called the Dashavida Pariksha.
10-point examination.
Exactly. Assessing constitution, strength, tissue quality, mental state, diet habits,
Yeah.
a whole range of factors. It gave him a picture of the person's natural state and their current imbalance.
Comprehensive.
Very. And interestingly, he even talked about how to approach Anukta Vyadi unclassified diseases. Even then, the focus was on figuring out the underlying dosha imbalance and how it was affecting the body.
So finding the root cause, always.
Always. He looked closely at etiology, the cause. Purvarupa, their early warning signs. Rupa, the full symptoms. Uprashaya, anuprashaya, what makes it better or worse. And samprapti, the whole disease process, which he saw in 6 stages.
6 stages, wow.
Yeah, from accumulation to manifestation, even chronicity. He even pointed to trividitas, improper use of time, senses, and actions as root causes. So you see, it was incredibly systematic, not guesswork. Tailored treatments came from this deep understanding.
It wasn't just physical symptoms, but lifestyle, environment, the whole picture. What about Sushruta, the surgeon? How did he diagnose?
Right, Sushruta is famous for surgery, but his Samhita shows diagnostic insight too, based on balance. A unique focus for him was Shalya Tantra, dealing with foreign bodies.
Foreign bodies, like injuries.
Exactly. Things lodged in the body causing problems. He classified them meticulously, whether they came from inside or outside. Think battlefield injuries, splinters, obstructions. His descriptions of finding and removing them are quite something.
Practical, given his focus.
Very. He also categorized diseases by prognosis, curable, manageable, incurable, and by origin, constitutional, environmental, or even what they understood as divine causes. He also talked about Ayu Pariksha, assessing potential lifespan before deciding on treatment.
Lifespan assessment first. Fascinating, especially for a surgeon. It shows that broader view. And Vagbhata, who synthesized things, what was in his diagnostic toolkit?
Vagbhata's works, Ashtanga Hridaya and Sangraha, really refined the diagnostic knowledge. A key contribution was the Ashtastana Pariksha, the eightfold examination.
Eightfold. What did that involve?
Pulse, stool, urine, tongue, voice, touch, eyes, and overall appearance. A really thorough physical assessment to pinpoint the root cause.
Very hands-on.
Yes. He also added more detail to classifying constitutions beyond the basic doshas. And he paid special attention to ajurna-impaired digestion, classifying different types. Plus, he elaborated on complex imbalances, like when 2 or all 3 doshas were involved.
So across all 3 texts, this incredibly detailed, systematic way of looking at the patient, not just surface symptoms, but the deep imbalances, the whole person, sounds way ahead of its time.
Absolutely. The Brihat Trayi shows this highly evolved, multi-layered diagnosis. It blended objective assessment with a really profound, holistic understanding of the patient, testament to their sharp observation and intellect.
Okay, sophisticated diagnosis. Now, the big question. How do they treat these problems? What remedies and therapies did they actually use?
Oh, the therapeutic toolbox revealed in the Brihat Trayi is vast and diverse. No one-size-fits-all stuff here. It was a comprehensive healing system.
Let's start with the actual remedies. Herbs, minerals. What were they using?
Their materia medica was incredibly rich. Plants, animal products, minerals, metals. They drew from everywhere.
Wow.
They had 5 main ways of preparing herbs. Fresh juice, swarasa, paste, kalka, decoctions, quatha, cold infusions, hema, and hot infusions, fanta.
Basic preparations.
Yes, but then they built on those. Medicated oils, medicated ghee processing herbs and fat believed to help absorption. Charaka Samhita lists tons of ghee preparations. Grita kalpanas.
Ghee, interesting. What about metals and minerals?
That evolved. Initially, often external use like storing water in metal pots for health benefits using quartz crystals. Sushruta, of course, knew metals for his instruments.
Right.
But we see the beginnings of internal use in the Brihat Trayi. Charaka mentions mercury and gold, mostly externally, but hinting at internal use. Sushruta talks about copper powder for some urinary issues.
So the early stages.
Exactly. This laid the groundwork for later Rasa Shastra, the science of processing metals into refined forms called bhasmas. So the Brihat Trayi shows these early steps.
Constantly exploring resources, but a huge part of Ayurveda is diet and lifestyle, isn't it? Prevention.
Absolutely fundamental. Swasavrita, the science of healthy living. Charaka himself said prevention is way better than cure, that living consciously could significantly prolong life.
So what kind of dietary advice did they give?
Highly personalized. Based on your constitution, prakriti, the season, ritu, your daily routine, dinacharya.
Tailored advice.
Totally. They classified food by taste, rasa, energy, virya heating or cooling, post-digestive effect, vipaka, and how it affected the doshas. Generally recommended fresh, seasonal, local food. Emphasized sattvic foods pure, promoting clarity like milk, ghee, fruits, rice.
Sattvic, pure foods.
Yeah. Charaka gives these incredibly detailed lists of foods and even 8 factors for eating quantity, timing, combinations. Sushruta advised on the order of tastes in a meal for digestion. Vagbhata recommended meal times and posture.
Even posture while eating.
Yep. The main theme, mindful eating of wholesome food tailored to you and your environment.
A very intentional approach. What about daily routines, Victoria?
Very specific regimens, waking early, drinking water, proper elimination, oral hygiene, teeth cleaning, tongue scraping, even oil in the nose.
Tongue scraping, I've heard of that.
Yeah. And Abhyanga daily self-oil massage was highly recommended. Promotes longevity, reduces stress. Regular exercise viyama was important too, but with clear guidelines and warnings against overdoing it.
And they adjusted for seasons.
Definitely. Ritucharya adapting diet and lifestyle for the seasons, even the transitions between them. And it wasn't just physical sadvrita, ethical conduct was part of it too. Hygiene, social responsibility to prevent disease spread. Their understanding of preventive health was incredibly broad.
That's really comprehensive. But Ayurveda also has these more intensive therapies, right? Panchakarma?
Yes, Panchakarma means 5 actions or 5 therapies. It's a deep purification, detoxification process. Aims to eliminate ama, those toxins, and rebalance the doshas.
Okay, 5 actions. What are they?
Well, it's highly personalized, usually in 3 stages. First, purvakarma preparation, oleation, internal and external oils, and sudation, therapeutic sweating, to loosen and move toxins towards the gut.
Preparing the body.
Exactly. Then pratana karma, the main treatments. 5 core procedures to eliminate toxins. Now, interestingly, the lists differ slightly. Charaka and Vagbhata list therapeutic vomiting, vamana, purgation, virochana, nasal medicine, nasya, and 2 types of medicated enemas, basati.
Okay.
Sushruta includes bloodletting, raktamokshana, as one of the 5 instead of the 2 types of basati. The specific therapies are chosen based on the individual's imbalance.
Tailored detox.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Finally, Panchakarma post-treatment care. Gently restoring digestion, reintroducing food step by step with a special diet, Karma. It's powerful stuff, needs qualified guidance.
Sounds intense but thorough. And then there's Rasayana, rejuvenation therapy.
Exactly. Rasayana goes beyond just treating illness. It's about promoting well-being, preventing disease, enhancing longevity and vitality. The name means path to excellent rasa, that first vital tissue.
Well, enhancing life force.
You could put it that way. Charaka said it brings nourishment, strength, immunity, long life. Sushruta highlighted its age-sustaining effects, boosting intellect, immunity. Vagbhata listed benefits like longer life, better memory, youthfulness, sharp senses.
Wow. How does it work?
Different types of Rasayana therapies exist, some more intensive. They use specific herbal formulas. Herbs like haritaki, shilajatu, amalaki are famous Rasayanas. Modern research is even looking into things like their antioxidant effects. It's really about boosting your body's natural resilience.
An incredible range of therapies. Just astounding. Now, we have to talk about Sushruta and surgery. That's just next level for that time period.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sushruta and his Samhita are truly exceptional. He's rightfully called the father of Indian surgery, and yes, even the father of plastic surgery. His techniques were pioneering.
What kind of surgeries were they actually doing back then? It's hard to imagine.
It is. But Sushruta described in detail techniques for cataract surgery.
Cataracts, really?
Yes. And rhinoplasty, reconstructing the nose, which is maybe his most famous achievement. Also treating fractures, wounds. His method for rhinoplasty, using a forehead skin flap, earliest written account. And the basic idea is still used in modern plastic surgery.
That's incredible. A forehead flap.
Incredible. He also documented removing tumors, draining abscesses, getting out foreign bodies, repairing anal fistulas, splinting fractures, even mentions things like C-sections and stitching wounds.
C-sections. Stitching.
But get this, one technique used large black ants as sutures. Their jaws would clamp the wound shut.
Ants? You're kidding.
Not kidding. And they used early forms of anesthesia wine, cannabis incense fumes to manage pain.
Mind-blowing. Ants as sutures. Anesthesia. What about instruments? They couldn't have had modern tools.
No, but Sushruta described 121 surgical instruments. He broke them down into blunt ones, yantras 101 types, and sharp ones, shastras 20 types.
121 different tools.
Yeah, yantras included forceps, scoops for ears, nose, tubes for examining openings, probes, dilators. Shastras were knives, saws, lancets, scissors.
What were they made of?
Usually iron, other metals available then. Sushruta stressed keeping them clean and sharp, even how to sharpen and sterilize them.
That detail is amazing. Shows a real surgical practice, and I know he emphasized anatomy. How did they even learn about the body back then?
That's one of the most fascinating parts. Sushruta strongly advocated for human dissection. Essential for surgeons, he said. A physician without anatomy knowledge is like a cook without ingredients.
Strong words. But dissection? Weren't there restrictions?
Huge social and religious constraints, yes.
Yeah.
So Sushruta developed this ingenious method without sharp tools. He described selecting a body not poisoned, no chronic illness cleaning it, wrapping it in grass or bark, and submerging it in a slow river for about a week.
Submerging it? Why?
To let it decompose gently. Then the softened tissues could be carefully separated by rubbing, layer by layer, allowing detailed examination inside and out.
Wow, that's incredibly resourceful. Shows an amazing commitment to learning despite limitations.
Absolutely. And while there were some inaccuracies, like he overestimated the number of bones, his descriptions of muscles, joints, vessels, organs were remarkably detailed for the era. He also stressed practical training, practicing on gourds, clay models first.
Practice models, like surgical simulation.
Kind of, yeah. Compared to other ancient traditions, his rhinoplasty was way ahead of, say, Egyptian techniques. And while surgery declined in Europe later, Arab scholars preserved knowledge often rooted in these Indian texts. Sushruta's contributions were unique, incredibly advanced.
Astounding skill and understanding back then. So looking at the Brihat Trayi, overall Charaka, Sushruta, Vagbhata, what's its enduring legacy? Why is it still relevant?
Well, the Brihat Trayi really marks that golden age of Indian medicine we talked about. It laid the foundation for all later Ayurveda. It established this comprehensive interdisciplinary system.
Interdisciplinary.
Yeah, covering principles, pathology, diagnosis, therapies, advanced surgery, even medical ethics were included. It was truly holistic, connecting the individual to their world.
And how does that connect to healthcare today?
The resonance is huge. Ayurveda's holistic philosophy fits right in with the growing interest in integrative medicine. Practices like yoga, meditation, personalized diet. Many are being recognized now in the West.
Right, they're becoming more mainstream.
Exactly. There's growing evidence that integrative approaches, often using Ayurvedic ideas, work well for things like chronic stress, pain management. And Ayurveda's personalized approach, tailoring treatment to your unique constitution, that mirrors the modern push for personalized medicine.
Personalized medicine, interesting parallel.
Plus, research continues on the medicinal plants described in these ancient texts, often validating their traditional uses. Even Panchakarma is gaining interest for detox and wellness.
So it's not just history, it's a living system with future potential.
Absolutely. We're seeing a global resurgence. People want natural, holistic options. It's gaining recognition worldwide. US, Germany, Australia. WHO is looking into it. India has the Ministry of AYUS supporting research and education.
So it's growing.
It is. Of course, there are challenges: standardization, need for more clinical trials, ensuring quality and safety of medicines. But the core principles, the holistic view, Ayurveda seems set to play an increasingly important role in future healthcare models.
Wow, what a deep dive into the Brihat Trayi. We've covered so much, the core ideas, how they diagnose, the incredible therapies, the surgery. It's clear this ancient wisdom still offers so much for understanding health today.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How this ancient system focused on balance, personalized well-being, how it might offer valuable perspectives for our often overwhelming modern lives.
Yeah, it really does. How could integrating some of these ideas, maybe just understanding your own dosha better, or trying some dietary changes, or even just learning about Abhyanga, the oil massage, how could that boost your own health and vitality? If any of this sparked your interest, definitely dig deeper into whatever resonated with you, find reliable resources, and if you want personalized advice, maybe think about consulting a qualified Ayurvedic practitioner.
Because ultimately, that journey to well-being, it's an ongoing exploration. And as we've seen, even ancient wisdom can offer profound insights and practical tools for navigating that journey today.